This is Ubuntu Mate 17.10 with the traditional GNOME 2-like desktop. Now it comes this way by default, except that you get the welcome screen when you first log in. I'm not going to go through that in detail. It has a good introduction, features, getting started, community, chat room, software. That's the famous software boutique. Get involved, shop, donate. I'm going to close it for now because it's been covered extensively. I'm going to go first to the Control Center, System Control Center, and I'm going to scroll down to Look and Feel. Now, first I'm going to change the desktop by going to Background, and I'm going to choose this desktop, which is similar to the one that appears with the login screen. Then I'm going to go to Mate Tweak. And the first thing up here under Desktop is Show Desktop Icons. I'm going to uncheck that. The most interesting part of Mate Tweak is the panel switcher. As I said, it comes with the traditional GNOME 2 panel. And you have Application menu, Places menu, and the System menu. Here you have a launcher for Firefox, and you have another launcher for the welcome screen. You have the Bluetooth, the network manager. I'm using a wired connection, but the wireless works fine. Here's the indicator for the simple screen recorder, sound, battery, date, time. Here's a shutdown icon. On the bottom, I have Show Desktop. Then we have the taskbar or window buttons by which I can open and close minimized applications. On the right, we have a workspace switcher with 4 active workspaces, and we have a trash icon. So that's the traditional GNOME 2 desktop. Now, the new features are available in the Mutiny desktop. Notice my window buttons have switched over to the left here. I'm going to minimize Mate Tweak. And if you notice, it goes into the dash. I can unminimize it and minimize it again by clicking on that icon. Other than that, you have a top panel. You have the simple screen recorder indicator and the other components of the system tray. When I click on this Ubuntu Mate symbol, I get the brisk menu. But to show you some of the more advanced features, let me open LibreOffice Calc. You notice I get the global menu. That is, the menu for LibreOffice Calc is in the top bar, not in the LibreOffice window. If I unmaximize LibreOffice Calc, the menu still appears on the top bar. Now let me open something else. Accessories. What about the Pluma text editor? You notice window snaps work. Now when I go to the Pluma text editor, I get the global menu for Pluma. When I click on LibreOffice Calc, I get the global menu for LibreOffice Calc. So I'm going to minimize Pluma for a minute and maximize LibreOffice Calc. Now one of the other things I wanted to show you is the heads-up display. Both the global menu and heads-up display are utilities that Ubuntu Mate inherited from the now abandoned Unity desktop. So when I press the Alt key, I get the heads-up display, HUD. What I can do with this is search through the extensive file menu for a particular item. So for instance, when I search for format, I get the options to format a page, format cells, format characters, format paragraphs, format descriptions, and format align top, that's for aligning the text, format rows hide, format rows show, format text bold. So if I click on format page and then press enter, I get the dialog box for formatting pages. So I'm going to unmaximize this again, and let me just drag it over to the right here and make it fill half the screen. Now I'm going to try another desktop. This is the Cupertino desktop, which emulates Mac OS. Now this has the brisk menu over at the left. It has a simple screen recorder indicator here. It has the system tray items over here on the right. It has the plank dock at the bottom with the icon zoom enabled. So it emulates Mac. Let me display LibreOffice again. And you notice I also get the global menu up here with Cupertino. And if I click on the Alt key, I also get the heads-up display with Cupertino. So let me try another desktop. This one is the contemporary desktop. This is somewhat of an amalgam of various different modern features into Mate. I still have the window controls over here on the left, but in many ways it looks like the GNOME 2 desktop. However, I have the brisk menu and the usual indicators and system tray on the right. On the bottom, I have Show Desktop, and I have the window buttons or Task Manager. And then on the right, I have the Workspace switcher and the trash icon. Now, let me display LibreOffice again, and you notice that also with the contemporary desktop, I get the global menu, and if I press on the Alt key, I get the heads-up display. So basically, those features are available in the Mutiny, Cupertino, and contemporary desktops. Now when I go to Netbook, I just get one top bar with everything crammed into that. I get the standard application menu. I get some launchers. I get the workspace switcher, the simple screen recorder indicator, and the system tray. When I display LibreOffice Calc, the menu is back in the window. I no longer have the global menu, and when I press on the Alt key, nothing happens. Now here's the Pantheon desktop. Pantheon originated with elementary Linux. Notice that the window buttons are again on the right. I have the brisk menu, but I also have places and system. And I have the simple screen recorder indicator and the system tray on top. On the bottom I have the plank dock. I don't have any workspace switcher, but I think I can probably add one. Add to panel. See, I can add a workspace switcher. I'm not going to do it. And when I display LibreOffice Calc, I get the regular window menu, not the global menu. So Redmond is a subtle way of reminding you that it emulates Microsoft Windows. By default, it has a single panel at the bottom with everything crammed into it. This has the Mate menu, the old-fashioned menu that still comes by default, I think, with Linux Mint Mate. And it has a show desktop icon. I don't have anything to show yet. And it has a few launchers, Firefox, Thunderbird, and the Welcome Center. Then it has the window buttons or task manager. And it has all of my mounted volumes. I'm using an external hard drive with several volumes on it. And here's simple screen recorder and the system tray. And of course, last is traditional, where I started out. And of course, LibreOffice has a regular window menu. And note again that the window controls are on the right. If I go down here to Windows, I can disable animations if I wish I wish. And window snapping is enabled. I like window snapping, so I'm going to leave that. Do not auto-maximize new windows. I'll have to think about that. You can change the location of the window controls, right, left. And you can change the compositor from Marco software compositor to Marco no compositor, or to Marco Compton GPU compositor, or to Compiz advanced GPU accelerated desktop effects. So I'm going to leave it on Marco software compositor. If you want to use Compiz, you would do well to use the Compiz configuration utility because it's not included by default. Another application that has gone through a considerable revision is the Caja file manager. And I've created a few documents just to demonstrate. I am going to change this to the list view. So you see I have 4 files labeled test1, test2, test3, test4. If I right-click on one of them, and then left-click on rename, I just get a highlighted area where I can rename the file. But if I select all of them and right-click and click on rename, I have a choice of how to bulk rename. First thing I can do is change the case to the title case where the first letter is capitalized, to lowercase, which is the way it was, to uppercase. I'm going to leave it unchanged. Then the next option is to insert something. I'm going to insert NEW space, and you see it changes test to new test on all of the selected files. Now if I want to insert something in a different position, for instance at position number 5, I'm going to type space NO for number and then space. You can see it forming on the right there. Or if I wanted to remove something from position number 5 and 3 characters, I'm back at test again. If I want to replace test with checked, I can do that. And if I want to enumerate, I can prepend numbers to file names. So I've got 1 checked, 2 checked, 3 checked, 4 checked. So that's just another new feature. There are several others. I won't go into all of them in detail. I just want to pay a brief visit to the installed software. If I go to sound and video, I installed Simple Screen Recorder, and I'm happy to say that the VLC media player was installed by default. That's my favorite. Now, when I go to System, Administration, I have the Software Boutique, but I don't have any other software manager, except, of course, the command line. So I'm going to open the Software Boutique. And go over here to More Software. And I'm going to install the Software Package Manager and the Synaptic Package Manager. Now I've selected those have both gone into the queue, so I'm going to click on the queue, and when I'm ready I can apply changes. And both of those items will be installed. Enter my password. So these items are now installed. I have not only the Software Boutique, but I have the Synaptic Package Manager. So where is GNOME Software? Why, it's here under Application System Tools. So why should the Software Boutique and the Synaptic Package Manager appear under System Administration and Software appear under Applications System Tools? I don't know why those two similar things are in completely different spots on the menu, but that's why they created menu editors. Now, as far as the resources are concerned, Ubuntu Mate is a little bit higher than Ubuntu, substantially higher than Lubuntu, but also lower than default Ubuntu with the GNOME 3 desktop. It's using 1.3 gigabytes with Simple Screen Recorder running, which isn't bad. There are some other features that I haven't gone into. Some of them are rather obscure. It does contain one snap package by default, but it's a command line utility, and I don't think it's of much general interest. It was just an experiment. So that's what's new in Ubuntu Mate 17.10. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.